What's up, guys? So I finally beat Skyrim Dawnguard. I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers or major spoilers, but it was 1600 Microsoft points, and the playtime is anywhere between 15 and 20 hours. You obviously will beat it sooner if you don't do everything, if you don't do all the side quests, and you probably just do the main quests. Maybe even sooner than 15 hours, maybe 10. I was at like 90 hours that I had played Skyrim before I started Dawnguard. And then now I have about 115 hours, I think. Yeah, it's a little bit over 20 hours. But I'm not counting the time that I spent like customizing my armor and all that. So minus those extra hours, it's about 20 hours long. The cool thing about Dawnguard is that it doesn't just add a new storyline. If you already are a werewolf, it adds a skill tree for werewolves, which is super cool. Like you get more abilities, and you get to increase your skills and all that, and you're not so limited in specific things as the werewolves were before Dawnguard. So you get more perks and stuff like that. The vampire as well. Of course, the biggest thing that I think Dawnguard added was the vampire lord, where you get to look like this crazy looking vampire monster thing that looks kind of like a gargoyle, and you get to float and all this stuff, like not fly but kind of like float across the land. I think that's one of the most appealing things that people saw in Dawnguard, that they were like, oh hell yeah. I didn't go the vampire route though. I didn't go the vampire route for a few reasons. One of the reasons, the main reason, is because my character is kind of like on the good side. He's kind of a good guy. He's a nice guy, you know? So I was like, no, I'm not gonna be no freaking vampire lord. Are you kidding me? So it didn't really fit with his personality to be a vampire lord. But also I didn't really want to be a vampire anyways, because I was already a werewolf, and they do make it so that you can turn into a vampire if you are a werewolf. I preferred being a werewolf, and I really wanted to be part of the Dawnguard. So it's pretty much this DLC makes you choose two sides. You could either be part of the Dawnguard, which are vampire hunters, or you could be a vampire and become a vampire lord. Because the gist of the story in Dawnguard is pretty much that the vampires are a sect of vampires that are led by this guy named Harkon. He's pretty much the main villain. He's this vampire lord who pretty much wants to block out the sun. It has to do with the prophecy, and he wants the vampires to be able to take over Nirn, pretty much, or Skyrim in this case. And in order for them to do that, they have to block out the sun, because they get weak out in the sunlight. And he needs like an Elder Scroll and all this stuff, so you go out and look for the Elder Scrolls before he could get them. I'm not going to go too much into it, but that's pretty much what he wants. So you either join him and in helping him do this, or you go against him and fight him. And that is the Dawnguard. So I thought that was really cool. And the thing that the Dawnguard gets, if you join the Dawnguard, is this really awesome crossbow. That's pretty much the biggest thing that you get if you join the Dawnguard. Like, that's exclusive, is the crossbow and Dawnguard armor, obviously. And you also get to go to the Dawnguard Keep, and you get the exclusive Dawnguard followers that are there. If you become a vampire lord, you obviously get to go to the castle where the vampires are and where Harkon is, to the castle, and you get those exclusive followers for you. You also get like vampire armor and all that. I had so much fun with it. Oh my god, it was so cool. I think the majority, or at least the people that I've seen, have gone the vampire route. And I don't think that this happens in everybody's game, but I've heard that there is a pretty big glitch in the vampire route. So I don't know anything about that though. I just know that somebody had a pretty bad glitch where they couldn't finish the main quest. This might be a little bit of a different type of review because I went the Dawnguard route. But I think that's pretty cool because you get to not only know about the vampire route from everybody else that's doing it, but also a little bit about the Dawnguard route, which I think is a lot more fun. In all honesty, I think that the storyline with the Dawnguard, the followers, just how it all turns out at the end, it's so much better if you join the Dawnguard. It might seem kind of like, oh, that's lame. You don't really get any superpowers like the vampire lord, and you don't get to look as cool, but you do get a lot of stuff in the Dawnguard, and the Dawnguard is really, really cool. The main guy in the Dawnguard, his name is Serana, and he's kind of like, I mean, he's really hardcore and he hates vampires, but he's kind of annoying sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, God, dude, just chill, man. But everybody else is really, really cool. I really love the blacksmith. I think his name is, I forgot his name. It starts with a G. And everybody else is just super cool. When you join the Dawnguard, you join with this other guy, and he's there too. And you just feel like this connection with him afterwards. It's like, man, we started together. But I think that one of the coolest things in Dawnguard is the introduction of Serana, the vampire. She is so cool, and I love the way that they added her as a follower, but also gave her dialogue and reactions to specific things. Because when you get a follower in Skyrim, like let's say you just go and get freaking, I don't know, some follower that's just sitting there. You go like, hey, could you help me out? Whatever. They join you. They don't really say anything. They don't respond. They don't react. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they'll react to like enemies approaching, but they don't really react to the story. And they will just say, oh, this place is beautiful or whatever. Or, oh, look at there's that one enemy or whatever. And you could hear them talking, but they won't really respond to what you're doing. They won't ask you questions and stuff like that. Or you can't really spark a dialogue with them. Like, oh, what do you think about this? You know, you can't talk to them and talk to them like they're part of you, like they're your friend, like they're your follower. And that's what I loved about Serana, is that she was more than just a follower. She was a character, that she was your friend. I mean, she could be your friend if you don't want to. She doesn't have to be. But she was my friend, and so much. I absolutely fell in love with Serana, because she was so cool. I loved the lines that they gave her. Sometimes she had some cheesy lines, but I love how she was like sarcastic, and how she would ask you about things, and she's like, "Oh, is this what people always talk about in Skyrim, blah, blah, blah," and like stuff like that, because she has been, I won't go into detail, but she's pretty much been like asleep or frozen for years, for a long, long time. So she's been away for a long time, and everything is just new to her. And I love the whole idea how she goes, and especially if you're part of the Dawnguard, because if you're not part of the Dawnguard, she's a vampire, you're a vampire, it's just like whatever. But her father, Harkon, Harkon is her father. She has a big role in what Harkon wants to do. But when you're in the Dawnguard and you've got Serana, she's a vampire in a place with vampire hunters. And it's so cool. I love it. Because Serana hates her. And he's just like, you're stupid. I can't believe you're taking her with you. I can't believe we've got a vampire here. Let's just kill her right now. And I was just like, I don't know if you really could treat her bad like Serana does. Like, you know, I'm not your friend kind of thing. I think you can, because I did see options there. You know, kind of just treating her like a vampire, and not like we need you, so shut the hell up and just follow us or we'll kill you. Kind of like she's like a hostage. But I treated her like my friend, and I was just like trying to make Serana understand that we needed her, and you know, making him understand that we could trust her and all that. And I took her everywhere. She was constantly in my follower, and everything that I would go to do, I would talk to her, and there was a new option to talk to her. Like something like, have you ever thought about getting cured from your vampirism? And she has some really cool stuff that she says. You could ask her about her family, about her father, about her mother. And not only that, I mean, because you could ask a lot of people, you know, about their background. But she, like I said, she responds to specific things, like specific missions, where she'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe this place is blah blah blah. Or there was this really really funny part that I loved, where you go, how can I say this without ruining it? You have to do something in order to read something, which is really really cool. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. You go to this place and she's in there, and she's like, oh, I think you have to go over there. There's what you need to go, I could see what you need to go do over there. And you go, and then she starts saying things like, if you do something, she'll be like, oh my god, you look like you're glowing or something. And she's just like constantly telling you things, and it just feels like she's with you and not just following you, not just like freaking tagging along. It feels like she's part of it. And I mean, obviously they had to do that because she is part of it. She is part of a huge part of the DLC. But it was just really fun to experience that. To have a follower that wasn't just sitting there following you, but responded and reacted and talked to you and just really made you feel like they were your friend. I mean, so much that she stays with you afterwards. I mean, she could if you want. She does become part of Skyrim, which is awesome. I was like, man, I hope she stays. I hope she doesn't just leave or something like that. And yeah, I could still have her as my follower, and I will keep her as my follower. I'm actually trying to find Mara, was it the Amulet of Mara, so that I could marry her. I've said this in the past that I write my main characters, and my main character is, I could totally see him falling for her. And I love that because he's Dawnguard, and he's a vampire hunter, and he falls in love with this vampire. I'm a sap like that. When it comes to that stuff, I love that. The places that you get to go in Dawnguard are really, really cool. I know that some of these missions cross over in the main story of Skyrim, so it's not all new, but there are some new places where you're just like, wow, this is cool. One of them, I think this is part of the main story. Like I said before, I haven't beaten Skyrim, the main quest, but I know that you get to go to Blackreach, I think. You go to Blackreach in Dawnguard. You have to go there to get something, but this mission does cross over with a main mission in Skyrim. So I believe that Blackreach isn't Dawnguard exclusive. It's already there. But I went in Dawnguard, and that was so cool. I love Blackreach. And it's just so awesome. The environment of it. It's like super dark, and you're just like, oh my god. And the ceiling just looks like there's stars all over. It's just this glimmering and these floating mushroom thingies. They're all glowing, and I had to use my candlelight, the spell where you use it and this little light turns on kind of thing. It's just like this little light following you around, so that you could see a little bit. It kind of illuminates. I was walking around like that, but because I kept on falling because I couldn't see. But you know that there's enemies around, and you're just like, man, they're gonna freaking see me. So you wanna walk in the dark, but it's dangerous because you could slip and fall off some cliff or something. Because that happened to me many times, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to use it. There was other places as well that you got to go. The Vale. This place was freaking awesome as well. I think this is Dawnguard exclusive. You get to fight 2 freaking dragons at the same time that were really hard. That's one thing that Dawnguard added. More dragons. Way more dragons. Everywhere I'd go, there was a freaking dragon. And I had heard that Dawnguard was going to be adding dragons. I think they even added a new type of dragon. every time I would go to a town that was outside, like say like Winterhold or Falkreath, something like that, that's outside, you would all of a sudden you'd be walking, all of a sudden you see the shadow of something go, and I'm like, oh no, it's a freaking dragon. And then I'd run in like, and then you hear it and you're just like, damn it, I just came to get some freaking things, and now I have to fight this damn dragon. I killed so many dragons after I got Dawnguard. So if you're looking for dragon bones and dragon scales, Dawnguard's gonna help. Another place that you get to go to in Dawnguard is, I think this is exclusive to Dawnguard, the Soul Cairn. I can't say that. This place was kind of annoying. I was like, man, I want to get out of here like right now. But it was still kind of interesting the way that they did it, especially if you're not a vampire. You have to go in there, and it's pretty much like where souls go, like souls are trapped. The way that you get to go there is, if you're a vampire, you could go in there easily, I believe. I can't remember exactly why it was you had to be a vampire to go through the Soul Cairn, but if you weren't a vampire, you had to pretty much like give up half of your soul. It was kind of like you paying your dues, like you paying to get in there. So, and the only way to get in there is to give up your soul. I'm not gonna become a vampire, so do what you gotta do, and Serana does this for you. But you're gonna be weaker in the Soul Cairn. Your health goes a little bit down, and your stamina does too, and I think your magicka does too. So you're slightly weaker. Not so much that I was having problems, you know, where I was like, man, I'm so weak, I'm getting killed. No, I didn't have that many problems killing anything in there. Oh, and for those of you that don't know anything about my character, I should say just a little bit about it. He's a Nord. He's pretty much a warrior, sword and shield, completely light armor. That's pretty much it. The only thing that was kind of messed up was that you get, what's his name? Arvak? You get this like soul horse. It kind of reminded me of Undead Nightmare, the one with the zombies in Red Dead. It reminded me of the horses. You know how I had the horses of the apocalypse that you could ride? This horse, I think his name is Arvak. I could be wrong. This horse looks kind of like that, where you could see like its bones and all that, and it's like all super thin, and it's got like purple flame. You might have seen it in the trailer. You get Arvak. You could summon him by doing this specific quest, and you need to summon him with magicka. I didn't have enough magicka since I don't use that much magicka. I'm pretty much just a warrior. I don't mix and match. The magicka that I have is only for healing and candlelight. It's pretty much all I use it for. So I had enough magicka to summon Arvak outside of the Soul Cairn, but not inside. So inside the Soul Cairn, I was like on foot the whole time, and I'm like, damn it. I was so pissed because I don't have that much magicka, but in the Soul Cairn, it was cut even shorter so that I didn't have enough. So I did have the ability to summon Arvak, which I can already in, you know, once I got out of the Soul Cairn, I could summon him, but not in the Soul Cairn. And that's where I really needed him, because you had to walk all over the freaking place, and it was a pretty big map. Some of these missions are pretty long. Some of these main missions where you go to, like the Soul Cairn was kind of long. When you were in the Vale was kind of long. You had to go to this freaking Dwemer thing. I hate going to Dwemer ruins, the Falmer, and once you get to where you had to get, it was interesting. I think that one is the one that crosses over with the main quest, because you need to get an Elder Scroll. Another really, really cool thing that you get from the Soul Cairn is a specific shout. I won't go into detail, but you get to summon a dragon. It's a specific dragon, and I know that there's already a shout that you get to do this, but this dragon actually talks to you and stuff like that. So he's cool. The crossbow that you get in Dawnguard, you could level it up, like you could make it better, upgrade it, and it does become pretty powerful, especially if you get like the the specific bolts. Like you get different bolts, just like with arrows. With some of the bolts, like let's say they're like explosive bolts, I think that's what they're called. Those are really cool. The freezing bolts are really cool too. I really liked the crossbow. It really came in handy until towards the end you get a specific bow and arrow that you need to use that makes it easier to kill vampires. The mission where you go and get Ariel's bow was really cool. I really like that mission. There was so much to it, so much back story, so much history when it comes to the Falmer, that it was just so cool. I thought it was really, really cool. I loved it. And one of my favorite parts of the whole DLC was in that mission at the end. Some guy, I won't go into detail, but some guy wants to get Serana, and he's all talking smack and all that, and he's like pretending like he's all that. And Serana just goes up to him and grabs him by the collar and lifts him up. And she's like, oh, hell no. I was laughing because I was like, oh my God, he's going to kill Serana or something. I was like, oh my God, Serana, be careful. And she just picks him up and lifts him up like nothing. Like she's like, oh yeah, try it. I think they did that to get some laughs because he was like talking all that. Like he's like, girl, I'm gonna take you out. And then he's like, the ending was kind of, I was expecting like this huge fight. I was expecting Harkon to be like super hard and like, oh my God, this guy's gonna freaking kill me so many times. But it wasn't. I was expecting it to be this big showdown between the Dawnguard and the vampires. And there was. The Dawnguard are just like, yeah, let's go kill some vampires, yo. And then they go over there to the castle. But it wasn't that bad. I thought I was going to have to go through the whole castle looking for Harkon. And I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be so many vampires that I'm going to have to kill. But there wasn't. It was just like you open a door and he's like right there, right in front of you. And you're just like, oh, hi. But yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail with Dawnguard just because there's so much to it that if you are going to play it, which I do recommend, it does sound expensive, 1,600 Microsoft points. But for what you get, for the content available, it's well worth it. I haven't played Dragonborn yet. I was waiting to beat Dawnguard first. I will provide a link in the description where it talks about the new abilities and the skill tree for werewolves and for the vampire lord, in case you were wondering about that. The journey was cool. Like it really gave that sense of mysteriousness and exploration that Skyrim does so well. And I recommend you do everything because everything is cool to do. I don't like just doing the main quest because you're just like, dude, what am I missing out on with all the side quests? And there's quite a few side quests and they're pretty interesting. And I can't wait to play Dragonborn now. Now I have got Serana and I will let you guys know when the wedding is. No. If you've played the Vampire Lord, let me know what you guys thought about it because I really don't know that much about the Vampire Lord route. Do a video response. That would help out a lot for everyone that wants to know about the Vampire Lord and is watching this video, or just, post in the comments. And let me know about that glitch. Does that happen all the time, or is that just... I did experience some glitches, but none of them got in the way of my missions or the side quests or anything. It was just like stupid little glitches here and there that, we experience in Skyrim all the time. That's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.